Happy New Year. Mike Stinger here, giving you a 2026 January update. Let's kind of go over some numbers and see where we're at as far as heading into the low seasonal trend and then jumping into first quarter springtime. What I'm going to go over here today is the numbers that we've seen from the December and November transactions that were starting to close in January, which I don't know if you saw my December 2025 update, but it went over the what was anticipated January being the seasonal best time to buy. Also for the sellers, they get a much more qualified buyer and a more serious buyer in the wintertime. So today we're going to look at, you see my mouse here, the median sales price is still right around that 400 mark. Closed sales is pretty traditional here. In fact, I think that's slightly lower, but it's also the seasonal trend for the time in January compared to December. Active inventory is a much more balanced number. I believe last year or even 2 years ago, we were at 1,000 or 1,500 listings, which was really low. But then with a different time and lower interest rates. Median days on market, we're looking at 41 days, which is pretty normal. It's still a seller's market out there. So for a house to go on the market now, 40 to 45 days, it takes about 40 to 45 days through escrow to close. So you're looking at about 90 days from start to finish a lot of the times with a properly priced home. So other homes that are sitting out there, keep an eye on any price reductions or things like that to generate the buyer to come and view the property. Like I was saying, year over year analysis, I think we're seeing a price stability. I don't know if you again saw my December video, but we went over how I think this is going to jump with this mild winter, even though I'm looking out the window right now when it's snowing. But we're going to see a pretty solid spring, I believe, with the interest rates continuing to drop, which is a great thing for buyers and affordability. Transactional dose, we were up just about 500 transactions or so. New listings inventory were up 17% increase, which is a lot of houses for sale, and especially if you're looking at it in a home purchasing world, that the buyers are actually out there and they never went away. And I think that's going to be also the indicator for this year as well, with those rates continuing to low. Looking at the Zillow and Realtor trends, I had them do a compare analysis compared to the numbers that I had as well on hand. And it looks like they're right along the same page. We're seeing a pretty traditional slowdown in the December and January timeframes, but I don't think they're incorporating their 383 national average number compared to our area, which is about 400,000. And I think we're going to see that 5% increase going into the second quarter of the year. And also depending on where the world ends, where interest rates and affordability is. And we should see a pretty normal real estate market. I know that's kind of hard to believe from the last 4, 5, 6 years ago, but I think we're trending to a normal real estate market where you can go out and shop for homes, look at what's out there, make a decision, and not have a lot of competition out there. For Spokane was 400,000, and in comparison to 2024, which is right after the interest rate hikes, again, your closed sales were up 5% going year over date. Days on market, I mean, that's a pretty big jump, but that's pretty much what we were anticipating with the year. Again, everything's priced accordingly, especially in this winter. I think you're going to see a lot of buyers coming out right now before there's any competition on new houses and trying to get the best deal they can in the wintertime, of course. For buyers, I think it's a pretty good time to buy in the January timeframe, so you can close in your February, March timeframe and hit the road running here for spring and summer. But for sellers, it's you got to price it right, and strategic pricing is going to be the key for you to get a solid, qualified buyer that's been looking for a while. And your typical buyer has been looking for 5, 6, 7, 8 months before they pull the trigger on something. So let's go over the Spokane numbers in comparison to last month, November, and then here's the December numbers. Looks like the values were going down just like I said. This is going to be right about the same going into January, and then February they'll start ticking up. Your closed sales were down a little bit, and I think that's a lot of people are traveling a lot more this year in comparison to the last couple of years. Active inventory is down a bit. Again, seasonal trend, and you're going to see a lot of listings pop back up as far as they're expired and they want to jump into the new year progress, a fresh listing. Important numbers to keep an eye on, again, days on market. New listings are down. It's probably the same. If I were to show you a December 24, it probably almost look the same. Here we have the correlation to 2025 and 2024. See, pretty much identical. But closed sales were up 5%. Days on market, we've gone over that several times. It's a pretty big indicator on a stabilizing market. And this is a big one where I was talking about in your December, January pricing. You can see that the listing to sales price, you got about 2% wiggle room to work with regarding closing costs or any repairs needed. And then your active inventory. This is great. Stabilizing real estate market. So in a nutshell, if you're out there, I would say get pre-approved, find your comfort zone, and get the ball rolling. Even if it's not this month, maybe next month, I would say it's going to be your best opportunity to buy before the springtime rolls around and you're paying the start of the premium pricing. If you have any questions at all, feel free to give me a call, text as well, email. I'm always around. 519-389-7555 or Mike at allspokanehomes.com. Talk to you soon.